your ribs. Back onto your back. I want you to find your neutral. So hip bones and boot bone on the same plane. Pull the belly in. Take your deep breath up high in the rib cage. And then exhale as you push away, lengthen the legs. Bend the knees, bring it in. Exhale, pressing away. Every time you lengthen the legs, you squeeze the back of the thighs together. Pressing the back of the shoulders down. Lengthening the back of the neck. Fully extend the legs to straight. We'll just do 2 more in the first position. And then when you bring it back in, turn your feet to parallel with the heels and go back. Behind those shoes, keep the ankles parallel. Focus on the back of the thighs to pull in the hips toward the heel. You want to think about working hard in both directions. Quads are working hard as you push out, hamstrings are working hard as you bring it back in. Now push away and hold straight legs. You're going to do some calf raises. Drop both heels and then lift the heels. Lower and lift. Draw the navel in deeper. Now lift the heels, keep them high, bring the carriage in halfway, and do short range of motion. So little pulses. I hope you're pressing the back of the shoulders down, reaching your arms long. I always like to turn my palms up to the ceiling. So rotate over the shoulders, open up across the front of your chest. Keep doing the short range of motion, the little pulses. Just now single leg. One leg lifts up to tabletop. And you're going to go ahead and switch, same thing on the other side. When you bring it back in, move heels to the bar. This is parallel feet, heels on the bar with flex feet, and then push your way into the heels, and then all the way back. Okay, quads are working hard as you go out. Think about the back of the thighs as you bring the carriage home. Like you're doing the work, pulling it in, instead of the spring putting all the work. So focus on the breath of high in the rib cage. Into your last 2, keeping the feet flexed. Now when your knees are bent and your carriage is in, we're going to move on to single leg work. So right toes are on the bar, left leg is lifted at tabletop. Push all the way out and pick up, and bring it in and kick forward. Now to pick up, bring it in and kick forward. So you could just do a straight leg lift and lower if you wanted to. To get more movement in that kicking leg knee, you bend and kick twice. Bend on the knee out, kick up, bend on the knee and kick forward. To deepen the stretch, reach the heel to the ceiling instead of the toes. Make sure you're fully extending that lower leg. Let's do 1 more. Go out and hold the leg to the ceiling and grab on and pull it in for a stretch. So both legs are long and straight. And then you can bring it back in. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Toes in the bar. Remember that you can always push with the arch or the heel. You do not have to push with the toes. And on this side, we're doing that same bend, pick up, and kick forward over the bar. And you could just do a straight leg, lift and lower if you wanted. Trying to deepen the stretch by reaching the heel to the ceiling instead of the toes. Make sure you're fully extending that lower leg all the way up to straight. Still pressing the arms down, pull the shoulder blades together. As to our last kick, when the leg is in the ceiling, hold it there, grab on and pull it in for a stretch. Now bring the carriage all the way back in. We are going to go into some arm work. So reducing the tension to a red and a blue is average. If you like a little heavier, you can do 2 reds. You could do a red, blue, and a yellow, or red with white on the side. So we're going to go back down onto your back and grab onto your straps. With your straps, your arms are going to be straight up to the ceiling. Start with some tension in the ropes. Find your neutral. So we have hip bones and kick on the same plane again. Tighten that imaginary corset. Bring the legs to tabletop while maintaining neutral, and then straight arms press all the way down on every exhale. Squeezing the legs together, using the upper back to shrug your shoulders down. Now, if you can, lengthen the legs straight, as long as you don't lose your neutral. long as you don't feel stress in the low back. You will feel the back muscles working to help maintain neutral and to help support those legs lengthened out. Pull the belly in deeper. If you want to work your abs a little harder, try curling up and looking into the belly. You can curl up with every press, or you can stay curled up. Remember to squeeze the legs together. If you're curled up, you're watching your abs stay tight and pulled in. Just do 2 more pull downs. Now when you press, you're going to hold it. Arms now go out to a T shape. Arms out to the side and then press down your hips. Try to stay curled up if you can. Keep chin to your chest. Every time you press, you force the air out of the lung. Overfill that upper back, working hard to slide the shoulder blade down towards the hip. Now press down and hold it. Remember to try to stay curled up if you can, but you can always rest down head and shoulders if you need to. As right arm lifts to the ceiling, the left arm goes out to the side wall. Press both hands down next to your hips and then alternate. So one arm up, one arm out, and then you're alternating. There you're keeping the legs moved together, your abs are tight and pulled in. Try not to twist at your waist. So think of the torso as a perfect box. Your core is so tight and strong, nothing moving in the torso, only the arms. Finish up this last set. And then when you bring your hands down next to your hips, you're going to bend the elbows and the knees. Now we're going to go into the tricep press. So same thing, if you can, stay curled up, looking to the belly, press arms and legs out and straight. As the arms lengthen, the legs lengthen, you're reaching the hands toward that full bar. If you can, try to stay curled up. Watch your abs stay tight and pulled in the whole time. Squeezing the inner thighs together. Now press out and hold it. We're only going to move the leg. Both legs lift, both legs lower. Stay curled up if you can, but you can always rest down head and shoulders. If your head goes down, make sure you press your shoulders down. Reach longer arms. Your last lower lift. And then find a spot with the legs where you can maintain them, and the arms are going to do circles. The legs can be at tabletop, straight up to the ceiling, or straight out that low 45-degree angle. The longest arms you can make for these circles is not letting the carriage hit the bumper. And then when you're ready, you're going to reverse the direction of the circle. Inhale as you start, exhale as you finish. Good longer arms, longer legs. Let's finish this circle with your arms at the ceiling, and then you can rest back down. And we're going to go into the 100 next. Remember, you're inhaling 5 counts, exhaling 5 counts, and you always have that option of keeping head and shoulders down and keeping legs at tabletop. If you can, we're going to try to stay curled up and hold straight legs. When you're ready, take a deep breath, and then exhale, press down, curl up, lengthen legs, or come in the arms. Inhale for 5 counts, exhaling for 5. Every time you exhale, think forcing every ounce of air out of the lungs. You squeeze the inner thighs together, reaching longer arms, longer legs. Inhaling 5 counts, exhaling 5 counts. Try to curl higher if you can, and try to get the legs a little lower if you can. Think about pulling up on the pelvic floor, lengthening the legs a little more, curling up a little bit higher, keep those arms moving fast. This is our last 10 count. Now after you exhale, hold everything still, curl up higher, and then you can rest back down. So go ahead and put your straps away. They can go on the shoulder rest or the floor. Your hands are going to be by your side, and we're going to go into our bridging. So with this, you have the option of having heels, arches, or toes on the bar. It is parallel feet. There's a little gap between your ankles. And I want you to rock your pelvis back so you feel the imprint of the spine. If you wanted to go a little weaker on the tension, it is going to make the back of the legs work a little harder. Right now, I'm on a red and a blue. So if you want to make it harder, you could go down to a red and blue if you did have your arms. You could go down to a red and a quarter to work it hard. So when you're ready, leaving the tailbone, lift the hips up. Hold your hips up high, spur the bridge on your shoulder blade. Remember to keep your neck in neutral. I know it's hard when you got to look at the camera, but try to keep yourself neutral, looking straight up to the ceiling. Your arms are long, pressing down to the carriage. Inhale as you go out, exhale, pulling back in. You got one more. Pull it in and pull the carriage in. Use the back of the thighs to keep pulling the hips toward the heel, and then slowly roll your spine right back down until you rest. Now we're going to work a little bit harder. I'm going to my toes instead of the heels this time, and then we're going to add single leg to it. But first, keep both feet on the bar. Lift your hips up and hold it. Keep both feet on the bar. If you are at your toes, elevate those heels with high heel shoes without your ankles going outward. So think about those inner ankle bones pulling towards each other. Going back and forth. You want to do at least 3 to start with both feet on the bar. And then when you hold the carriage in, stay in. One leg kicks out over the bar, and we'll go 3 on the single leg. Back and forth. And keep your thighs parallel, keep your pelvis level. Bring it in, hold the carriage steady so that we can switch leg. Opposite leg small and straight, going back and forth. Keeping the hips up, long arms are reaching. Your last one, when you pull it in, hold it in, rest on the foot, and then slowly roll the spine down into your rest. Go ahead and do a little hip stretch, cross one ankle over the opposite knee and then hug it into your chest. We'll do that same hip stretch on the other side. Pull in. You can uncross the legs. Let's come up and increase the tension because we're going to do feet straps then. I like to do 2 and a half, so it's 2 reds and a blue. You can do more or less. So when you're ready, go back down onto your back, grab onto your straps, and then we'll push away to feet and straps. Just pushing out, going 1 foot at a time into the straps. Lengthen those legs out to that low 45-degree angle. Make sure you find your neutral, so hip bones and boot bone on the same plane, tighten that mat to your core, sit down your waist, and then legs lift to the stone as you inhale, and lower down the exhale. The goal is to not move the pelvis. You only want to hinge at that ball and socket between your hips. Inhale up, exhale, press. Squeeze the legs together, press the arms down into the carriage. Now when you press down, stay down low, heels together, bend your knees for front knees, and then press out, lengthen legs to straight. You can bend those knees in a little deeper, but just not letting the pelvis move. Without letting anything move in the lumbar spine. So draw the navel in, focus on the lateral rib cage breathing, breath up high in the rib cage. Every time you lengthen the legs to straight, squeeze the back of the thighs together. Your last froggy, and when the legs are straight, hold them straight. Straight legs straddle all the way from each other and then press back. Feel the inner thigh stretch and then straight. Hopefully you're working your arms, pressing them downward into the carriage, hold the shoulder blades together. When you press together, hold together, run the bow and arrow next. So one leg straight, oppositely bend, and press in. Keeping the pelvis steady. Here's your visual for that box torso again. Shoulders and hips to the 4 corners, and your core is so tight and strong that your body is not allowed to tip, sway, or move. Every time those heels meet back together, really activate those inner thighs, squeeze together. When you hold the legs together, keep together, parallel feet, you're going to go for circles. So bring them up, out to the side and press. Keeping the hips down to the carriage. Hopefully you give yourself that deep hamstring stretch. The legs go up, inner thigh stretches, the legs go out, and then strengthening the inner thighs, back of the thighs as you press down. And just draw that circle with the pound of the breath. Breath up high in the rib cage. Exhaling as you draw those legs down together. You do one more. Hold together the bottom so we can reverse. Remember to squeeze the inner thighs together and press down using the back of the thighs and the glutes. You do not want to feel like you're pressing with your back. Hold the shoulder blades together. Still lengthen the back of the neck too, so your chin will get a little closer to your chest. Just do this last circle, but I want you to finish with the legs to the ceiling. So legs are straight up over the hips, you're at a 90-degree angle, and now only the legs are going to move, not letting the carriage move. Legs open and close, while you're keeping your carriage steady. The same shoes there again. If this ever bothers the back of the knees, you can always do a little steeper bend in the knees. When you bring the legs together, hold together. Don't move right leg. Left leg goes out, left leg comes back. Now you could alternate, but I'm just holding that one leg stationary as my left leg keeps moving. Out on the inhale, squeeze back to center on the exhale. Not letting the carriage move. Your last one, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you started alternating, just keep alternating. Keeping your pelvis steady. Keep that stationary leg in the same spot. If you need to, line your toes up or something on the ceiling. After you bring the legs together, we're just going to stretch. Bring both straight legs towards your face so that feel a big stretch. And it's okay if the hips lift on this one. You just want to stretch. You do not want to press with straight legs. If your hips are up, you're going to bend your knees, roll the spine back down, and then press strong legs into the straps. So now we're going to bring the legs up to the ceiling again. Bring your legs up. So this one I call swimming frog. It's one of my favorites. You bring the legs up to your 90-degree angle. Do a turnout with the feet. So you rotate your hips, your heels are together, toes apart. Without moving the carriage, you're going to bend the knees for froggy squat. So the carriage should not move as you bring your heels over your tailbone. Now again, not moving the carriage as the legs open out to the side wall so you get that inner thigh stretch. So they're going to go really wide. And then the legs are going to press down together to the bar your carriage moves in that last step. So first the legs lift, you come 90. You bend for the froggy squat, the carriage does not move. The carriage does not move, the leg open, but then lastly, the carriage moves, you press. So 1, the leg lift, 2, you bend, 3, you straddle, and then 4, you press. Bring the legs up first, bend your knees. Hopefully there's no movement at low back or your pelvis. You just move those legs freely in a ball and socket joint. Bend, open, and then press using the inner thighs. We'll do one more. Legs up. Try to make that inner thigh stretch deeper. Those legs straddle out, and then use the strength to press. We're going to the short spine. You do not want to look left and right when you're doing short spine. So if you need to see it first, you can. You guys all know short spine pretty well. Both legs together. We're going to hinge at the hips first. Please, you can hinge at the hips. Keep rolling the carriage home so the spring slows. And then lift up to your shoulder blades. While you're lifted, you turn out the feet, bend your knees to that froggy squat again. Keep the heels together, roll your spine down, and then press those legs all the way out to the bar. We'll do it again. So parallel feet, legs come overhead. Lift the hips up. Hold there, heels together, bend your knees to the froggy squat. Roll the spine back down, and then press heels down and out. Now you can keep going because we're going to do at least 2 more. It's short spine so awesome that you can keep doing as many as you want. But we're going to try to do an extra challenge of lifting up right away. So tighten your abs. Lifting up kind of reminds me of a magician on the tower. So when you're up into that shoulder stand, bend your knees to that froggy squat, take the turn out, roll the spine back down, press heels down now, lengthen legs straight. Back to parallel feet. If you can, straight legs, lift up right away. Stiff as a board, you lift to your shoulder blades, let those springs close, bend your knees, roll the spine back down, and then press into the straps. Feel free to do another one if you want. Then after that, we're coming out of the straps. Go ahead and put your feet to the bar. It's always for one leg at a time, of course. When the carriage comes in, we're going to come up to seated, and we're going to do some arm work. So 1 rep spring is average. You could do more if you want to do more. We're going to end up sitting facing towards the ropes. So grab onto your straps and legs are straight out in front of you. You can do legs parallel or ankles crossed. Either one is fine. When you're sitting tall and straight, roll the shoulders down and back and straight arms press. So if you didn't get to change your springs yet, 1 rep is average. You can always do more or less. Exhale with every press. I like to give you guys that extra challenge. If you can, stop with your hands next to your hips and then press back from there. Hands come next to hips and back. As opposed to getting this full range of motion, momentum swing. This one you just have to work a little harder on want you to think about squeezing the legs together, hold the belly in. Now press your arms back and hold it. Keep those arms back. Keep your shoulders stable. You're going to bend at the elbows and then press down the legs. Bend on the inhale, exhale, press. Narrow the waistline. Squeeze legs together. The tricep press. Bend on the inhale, exhale, pressing. Your last one. And then bring your arms out in front of you. This is where we're going to do bicep curl, but we're just going to do one bicep curl first. Hold your spine long and straight. Now, if we can work a little harder, we're going to hinge back to this reclining position and hold it. But you could always stay straight vertical. Try to keep flat back here instead of the C curve around the spine. So try to keep straight. Arms lengthen on the inhale, exhale, curve. Imagine your cinch neck corset tighter. On every exhale, you're forcing air out of the lungs. Shoulders shrug down. You're squeezing the legs together. Do one more bicep curl. When your arms are straight, you're going to hold them straight. Turn your palms to face each other. I'm going to stay in the reclining position, but you can always come back up to seated, where both arms open out to the side. And then move forward. Exhale when you open. Think about a strong upper back. Remember to draw the navel in. Try to keep that long, straight line through your spine. Keep the neck in neutral too, so we're not dropping chin to your chest. Now the last one's going to be the hardest. That's where you open up and you hold. So arms go out to the side and stay there. Still breathe. Squeeze the legs together. And then you can move your arms forward and hold forward. Keep coming up and over the legs. I want you to cross your ropes so you make an X out of them. Once you make the X out of the ropes, you're going to take your forearm through the loop and move it all the way to your the crease of your elbow. So we're staying tall, straight, vertical on this one. The arms up, arms bent 90 degrees. And you're just going to swing the elbows open wide and then elbows forward. So you still have the feeling of sliding your armpits down towards your hips to make the lats work a little harder and to prevent yourself from drooping up into your neck. Keep the elbows up. Making those deltoids work harder. Keep those arms strong, bent 90 degrees. Let's do our last two. Force your other arms open. And your last one. And then you can come forward. Move your arms forward. You're going to go ahead and uncross the ropes. You can put the straps away on the shoulder rest. We are going to need them to do a front round and kneeling. So I want you to go to kneeling and face towards your foot bar. I'm going to stay at a wrist spring, but feel free to add on more if you want. We're going to go into long stretch. Long stretch is basically the plank. So I'm going to do this with feet to the shoulder rest instead of the traditional feet between the shoulder rest and on the head rest. So just keep your feet to the shoulder rest, but we're going to lift up and hold straight leg. If you need to modify this, just stay on your knees and a little plank. If you can, lift up and hold straight. Now, Kim's probably doing her modification on the shoulder rest. Good. Now, when you're in this plank, you want to feel the shoulder blades spreading apart, and you want to keep your neck in neutral, so we're not sinking face to the floor, and we're not dropping chin to your chest, looking into your belly. Keep your neck in neutral. Do one more. Now, when you bring the shoulders over the bar, we're going to hold. We're going to move into a side plank. Feel free to come down to your knees if you need to. You're going to center one hand on the bar and turn away from that arm that is on the bar. And move your side leg. You can just hold. You notice the feet have turned as well, so you're on the sides of your feet. Now we're pushing back and forth the lower arm. Feel free to come down to your knees if you need to. You can just hold yourself here and not even move the hips. Do one more. And then when you bring that shoulder over the bar, you're going to hold center yourself. We're going to go around to the other side. So you center the opposite arm, middle of the bar, turn your feet. And then reach that arm up to the sky. You go back and forth. Remember, you could hold the chair steady, and you could come down to your knees if you need to. Keep both arms strong, reaching away from center. We're going to do one more on the side. And then when you center yourself to face towards the bar, you're going to position the feet so they're centered, and then you bend your knees. Go ahead and add on more springs. Our ready to move is average. I'm going to be yellow. So basically 150 and a quarter. Your feet touch the shoulder rest, we're doing our knee stretches. So let's do the rounded back on this one. So tuck your tailbone under, pull bottom rest your hips, draw the navel in, and you're sitting back or you're hovering off the heel. Now you're pushing away the legs, legs come in. Legs go out, legs come in. Now you're breathing for this one as an exhale as the springs close. So big force in your out of the lungs, tucking into a little ball. Every time those knees come back in. That's where you feel that knee stretch on the exhale. You can always change the tension. You can always go up or down on that. Obviously, have your attention, you can make the quad work harder. But another way to work harder is to increase the speed and then to also add a knee lift. You can do one or both. Back and forth. Exhale as the knees come under you. 2 more. Not dripping into your neck. And then you can rest back down. So go ahead and take off the quarter if you have it. So everybody's up with the red and the blue. We're going to stand for elephant. Standing on the carriage with straight legs and flat feet. Your hips are reaching back. This is a flat back elephant. It's a long straight line from wrist to your hips. The legs are straight as they go back and forth. To prevent the heels from lifting, you can curl your toes up. You kind of force the heels to stay down. Try to relax your neck. Shoulder blades slide towards the hips. Your navel draws in towards your spine. Do one more. And then bring it in and keep it in. So we're going to move on to arabesque. We're going to lift the heels like high heel shoes. That is optional. You could stay down on flat feet if you want. Keep sending those hips back. And you're going to lift one leg, either one, up to the ceiling. So the lifted leg is trying to stay straight and lifted as high as you can get. The lower leg is going to go back and forth. Now, ideally, when we're doing this, we're only moving the hip of the lower leg. So we're trying to keep the movement out of the shoulders, keep your upper body in the same start position, and also knock your into the neck. Pay attention to your hands, so you have even pressure on your palms. You're not all shifting to the lower leg side of your body. Lift that leg a little higher, bring the carriage in, hold it in, and then we're going to switch. Same thing on the other side. So keep sending the hips back, keep the legs straight, take that leg as high as you can to the ceiling, and go back and forth, only moving the lower leg. Exhale as that leg comes back in and your springs close. Think about squeezing the glutes, draw the navel in. Now when you bring it in, hold it in, you're going to rest on the foot and then come on down to knee. So we're going to do kneeling front rooming here. So just do this with a blue spring. If you like heavier, you can add on the quarter. And then if you're feeling a little shoulder pain, you can always go down to the quarter instead of the 50. So stay kneeling, grab onto your strap. You can do big loops or little loops if you do the double. Little one's always going to feel harder. Now for the feet, they can be flat to the shoulder rest or flat on the carriage between the shoulder rest. Either one is fine. Arms are straight down and then they lift up the shoulder. Exhale every time you lift the arms up. You're pulling the belly in. Your shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. Now even though the legs aren't together, you still want to activate the inner thighs like you're squeezing the legs together. Now lift your arms up and hold them up at shoulder height. This is huggy tree. So a little bend in the elbows, arms open on the inhale, exhale high. Control the rows because you don't want the elbows to go behind you. You only want them to come next to you and the center. Think about working hard in both directions. Narrow the waistline, tighten the legs. Do one more hug. Now we're moving on to salute. Salute, you can stay straight vertical like this. Your fingertips are together, elbows are wide. But if you can work your legs a little harder, let's sit halfway back to your heels and hover. What you don't want to happen is to stick your tailbone out like this, like a sway back. So you want to round a little bit, tucking the tailbone under. Make sure your abs work a little bit harder. Face that low back straighter. On every exhale, you're lengthening the arms up to straight. Shoulders shrug down. Keep the hips hovering off the heels. Keep tucking the tailbone under, pulling the belly in. As those arms lengthen, the shoulders slide down so the armpits pull into your hips. Give your last two. And then you can bring it back in, give yourself a break. Go ahead and put the straps down. They can go on the shoulder rest or the floor, but we're gonna put our box on. We're gonna work our legs in the next one. Hopefully you guys all have a box. Then you can ask that at the beginning, but with the box, let's go on short box in front of the shoulder rest. We're gonna stay at the blue spring. If you wanna do a little more, you can add the quarter. But too heavy is just gonna shift you on the box. So we're gonna pick either side of your body to lay on first, but you are facing the ropes and you're gonna lay on your hip, propped up on your elbow with one leg straight. So you can either take the rope, either rope really, the one that is the furthest from your kicking leg is gonna give you more range of motion, it's gonna make it feel a little heavier. Or you could do the strap that's closest to the leg and make it a little bit easier. I'm doing the further one, make it a little harder. So it's crossed over. Leg is at hip height, and then you're going to swing back, bring that leg back on the exhale. Leg goes forward on the inhale, exhale, pressing. Now you're pulling the shoulder blades together, and you really can't see the alignment of my spine, but we're trying to stay a straight line through your spine and not letting the waistline drop to the box. You always got to have that visual. We're in this tight corset around your waist. Your corset is your abdominal muscles, so pull them in a little tighter. Try to keep the swinging leg at hip height. So you got to fight gravity, make those abductors work a little harder. Keep yourself propped up onto the elbow, and you're pushing downward into the elbow to stay lifted out of the shoulder so they don't sink down into it and shorten the neck. Now the next kick, I want you to bring that leg to where it's next to you. It's not behind you or in front of you. The leg's at hip height, and then it's going to lift a little higher, and then go down to hip height. And keep lifting and lowering that leg, but not letting your carriage move. Keep pushing down to the elbow, stay lifted out of the shoulder. Keep going up and down with this kicking leg. Still breathing. Now bring the leg forward. And then you can let that strap just fall off, or you can put it on the shoulder rest, or you're going to spin around to the other side. So you're going to stay facing the same direction, just got to go over to the other hip. Try to stretch the whole length of your box, so elbows in one corner, hip is at the other. You're going to put the foot in the strap, lengthen that leg out, and reach. Try to keep the leg at hip height, and then you swing back. Forward on the inhale, exhale as you press back. Still trying to narrow the waistline. So I didn't mention the top arm. Really, you can do whatever you want on the top arm. If you have a weight, you could do this. If you do this at home, you go with a weight in your hand, one of those weighted balls. You can reach the arm overhead with the weight or just a free arm. I like to put a hand on the hip. It helps remind you to tighten the abdomen underneath those fingertips. Keep the leg at hip height. Squeeze the glutes every time you press back. You're keeping your upper body strong and in control. Squeeze the glutes. Now you're going to bring that leg next to you, and this is where you hold the curve steady as you go up and down the leg. Follow up now. Remember, this lower leg is still a working leg. Don't let it be lazy. Don't let your carriage move for 2 more lifts. And then you can bring the leg forward. Let the strap just come off the foot, or you can put it on the shoulder. So we're going to end up turning the box to long box. Long box, we're going to put the straps in your hands, but the bar is a little high. It might hit you in the face. So you're going to lower your bar down one spot or all the way, but you're going to keep yourself on the blue spring because we're doing breaststroke. So if you like heavier tension, you can add on the quarter spring. So once you have your straps, both straps are in front of you. This is the easiest way to get into this. Instead of stepping in the middle and kind of running yourself over, you want to pull. Hands on the top corners, and then you lay flat down between those 2 ropes. The legs stay together and hopefully lifted. If you hit the pulleys back there, you could always do some bent legs. Your arms are tucked by your side like 2 knees. Lift the rib cage, lift the legs, and reach both arms straight. Bend on the inhale, exhale, press. Shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. Or you can always increase your tension if you wanted to. You always add the quarter. We started this with the blue. We do a lot of reps and it gets a little tiring. Try to lift the rib cage, try to lift the leg. Do one more reach and then hold it. Now we're starting with circles. So the arms are going to reach out to the side walls and all the way back to your hips. And then we start over again and reach. And circle all the way on back. Now you can work a little harder. Try to lift everything a little higher when you start the circle. So you're kind of low, you reach your arms, and then lift everything as high as you can and draw the biggest circle possible. Take breaks if you need to. Remember to keep pulling the belly in, keep lifting the legs. Let's do 2 more. And your last one. When you bring your hands back to your hips, go ahead and drop one strap, bring that free hand to the bar or the platform, so you drop the other. You can bring the carriage back in, and then we're going to come off and get rid of your box. Before you get rid of the box, you can do a little stretch. So you kind of lean into the stretch, make sure your abs are tight and pulled in. Let's get rid of the box. So we're going to end up doing some standing stuff to work the inner thighs in the next one. Very good. Hamstring, some bridging. So keep it at the blue spring. If you want to work a little harder, you could do this with just a quarter, but you're going to come all the way up. I feel like my head is going to get cut off in the image here, but you guys have done this, you know what you're doing. Make sure when you stand up, you're on the wood platform first with the foot, and then move up to the carriage with the opposite leg. So the foot that's on the carriage, you could step it out to the middle to work a little harder. But the closer you are to the springs with that carriage leg, the easier it's going to be. So when you're ready, let the carriage go out, and then you pull right back into center. Inhale as you go out, exhale, pull in. If you needed to, if it's ever bothered hips or knees, you could do a little turnout. You just want your feet to match. You could do whatever you want with the arms. You could reach them out to help with balance. This is a good one too. I didn't say before, if you have weights and you want to do this at home, you can put weights in your arms and go out and in. Think about tightening your abs, pulling the belly in. Activate those inner thighs every time you draw back to center. Think about forward and up on the pelvic floor. Do one more. When you pull it back in with your inner thighs, you're going to hold it, bend your knees, take it to a little squat, only the carriage leg moves. Back and forth. Three more little pushes, keeping the leg on the platform strong and stable. When you bring it back in, you're going to keep it in. Now we are going to go around on the other side. So you can step forward and turn around. If you feel comfortable with your balance, you turn around the platform. Usually not the safest thing to do on that platform, but when you're ready, go out on the inhale and slowly back to center next. Inhale all the way out. Exhale forward. Always holding up on the pelvic floor, hold the shoulder blades together. Your last two, go out a little further if you can get that stretch and strengthen the center. After you bring it back in, you're going to hold in, bend your knees, seat into a little squat, only move the carriage leg. The leg on the platform is strong and stable, not moving. Your spine is long and straight, your shoulders are still over your hips, your abs are tight and pulled in. Good. 4 more pushes with the carriage leg. Staying on the squat. When you bring it back in, we're going to keep it in. Now step forward onto the floor. We're going to pull our bar up to the, let's go to highest spot. And you're going to add on a red spring. So everybody's at a red and the blue. And we're going to go into our tendon stretch. So this one, you are going to sit. Always make sure your foot bar is secure before you get on. You don't want to fall on you while you're sitting on it. So when you're sitting on the foot bar, you're kind of just behind the sit bone. Your feet are together and your heels are hanging off the carriage. Just do a little chest push first where you press away and then bend your knees, bring it in. If that feels too heavy and it's shifting you backwards off the bar, you could go down to the red and the yellow or red and white, depending on your strength. So a red and a quarter, if you wanted to make this a little bit easier on the legs. So your abs are tight and pulled in. We're just going to keep going out for a couple pushes. Do one more and then hold it. Hold those legs long and straight. You got to keep these quads working hard to keep the legs straight. Now this one we're going to hover the hips off the bar. So C-curve your spine, chin your chest, and keep your spine rounded, arms and legs are straight the whole time. Really slow those shoulders down away from your ears, because if they shrug up, you're going to end up hitting hips to the bar. Keep the C-curve, and if you can, lift the hips so high that the spring slows, and then you're going to push the carriage out where your hips come out in front of the bar. Lifting those hips up, and then go all the way down. So think of yourself swinging like a pendulum, all the way in, and then all the way back out. Keep the legs straight, keep your abs tight and pulled in. We're going to do 2 more. And your last. Now when your springs are closed, your hips are up, you're going to hold it, breathe, and then you can sit down onto the bar. Now we're going to take off the blue string, so we're just left with the one red string, and we're going to go into control front. So the bar is a little high for control front. It actually, with it this high, is just going to put more weight into your hands and make your upper body work a little harder. So you could take the bar down one spot. I don't mind it this high, so I'm going to keep it there. You could do this with feet on the platform too. So I'll show you feet on the platform first, because it's easier. Your hands on your shoulder rest. You go ahead and put one foot to that platform, push away, tighten your abs, and then when you're ready, bring the other leg up to match. So if you can, you're going to move up to the bar. It's a lot harder on the bar. And then when you're ready, you're going to move the shoulders and just go back and forth, back and forth. If this bothers the wrist, you could do this on your elbows, and I'll show you on your elbows. Pushing one leg out, and we're in this plank, and you just go back and forth, moving your shoulders. You could do this on the bar, 2 on your shoulders. Still breathing. Just do 2 more pushes, whether your arms are straight or you're on your elbows. And then you're going to bring a knee down to the carriage, guide your carriage in, and then relax your elbow. So the next one is like a pike. You're going to be on your elbows, everybody's going to be on the elbows. So this one, your arms are kind of in this triangle motion position, basically, and you're going to come down onto the carriage. Your hands are right in between the shoulder rests, your elbows flat on the carriage. Put your feet either onto the bar or the platform. So pick where you want the feet. Lift up into that plank. And now with the pike, you lift your hips up. Your legs stay straight, and then you drop right back down your straight line. Lifting your hips, and then lower. Now an extra little challenge, kind of feel fancy on this next one. You're going to lift the leg, and then you lower down. Coordination, you got to alternate. Lifting the other leg, and then you lower down. Hopefully you're still breathing, pulling the belly in. Try to do 1 more on each side if you're doing the single leg stuff. But if you want to come out early, just bring a knee down to the carriage. We're all coming out now anyway, and you can bring it back in. We'll do a little child's pose stretch, relax. We're going to go into mermaid next. So if you lowered your bar down, you can pull back up. And then 1 red is average for mermaid. You could do more if you want to do more of an arm workout. I'm going to go ahead and add on my blue. So you could just say 1 red, a red and a quarter, or a red and a 50. So when you're sitting for mermaid, chin to the shoulder rest, hand on the bar, the hand is slightly forward in the center, and you're going to push away and just stretch. Hold that stretch, breathe, and now we rotate. When you rotate, hands are wide on the bar, you're looking down to the floor, keep your neck in neutral, you bend the elbows 3 times. Hopefully you're breathing. Shoulders shrugging down. Now hold straight arms and look forward as you lift up. Your shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears, and then lower down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale as you lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Lower down, stay down low. Move the hand back to the center so we can rotate out of mermaid the same way you went in, and then come all the way back up. Do your counter stretch if you want, and then we're going to swing around Do the whole thing on the other side. Shin to the shoulder, hand on the bar, but slightly forward to center. Push away, stretch, breathe into it. And then when you're ready, rotate. Hands are wide on the bar. You're looking down, bend the elbows 3 times. Try not to grip into your neck. You are trying to keep that rotation. Now hold your arms straight, look forward and lift the rib cage. Lift up as high as you can, and then lower down. Moving that rotation, build the extension, and lower. You got one more. Deep breath. When you lower down, stay down low. Move the hand back to the center so you can rotate out of the mermaid, and then come all the way back up, and then do your counter stretch. We're going to sit facing towards the foot guard. Go ahead and take off that blue or quarter if you have it on, so everybody's just at one red. And we're going to do our monkey stretch. So you can do feet on the platform or on the bar. Either one is fine. So you're going to push away and stretch. With the legs straight, try dropping the heels under the bar, and then use the strength in the arms to pull yourself deeper into the legs. You can bring it all the way back in. Now we're going to come up into our front split. So we are going to kneel facing towards the foot bar. When you come up to kneeling, one foot stays back to the shoulder rest. The opposite foot goes forward on the platform or the bar. Bar is going to be deeper. If this bothers hips or knees, you could just come off to the side and put a foot on the floor and do a lunge and then go into the hamstring stretch. You guys are pretty flexible, so I think that you can put up on the bar. Well, looks like you got some high splits. Now, give yourself that extra little stretch at the beginning. I would say right at the start. You could push your hips forward and go a deeper stretch down to your quadriceps into the hip flexor. When you're ready, you're going to change sides to do the same thing on the other side. Make sure you're even up. You put the foot on the wood platform for a little easier. You can step off the side on the reformer and keep a foot on the floor if you need to. Try to give yourself that extra little quadricep stretch when you come in. Feel a hip flexor stretch. Really, you can do as many of those as you want. Try to do a few more on your tighter side. Now, when you bring the carriage in, we are going to do an inner cross stretch. So we're going to stay at the red spring. If you are, well, I guess we already got down from the high spot. It's going to be too much. So when you're turned to the side, hopefully this feels even and you don't have to turn around and do this on the other side. You can take your bar down if it's in your way. I'm going to work around it because it doesn't bother me there. So you're going to put one foot on the platform, the other foot to the shoulder rest, and use your hands for support. Make sure the foot that's on the wood platform is not going to slide off. It should feel secure on there, and you just go out for your inner thigh stretch. Shoulders are shrugging down. Stretch out a little deeper with each exhale. Try to keep your spine even between the two legs. Go out for one more. And then when you bring it back in, you're going to use your arms for support. Walk your foot back to center. And you can come on down to the carrot. So after that, just sit however you're comfortable. Shrug your shoulders up. Shrug them down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now hopefully you can keep your shoulders down, your abs in all day long today. You can do a couple of neck curls if you need to release that tension in the neck. And after that, you guys are all done.